Hello friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel DS Tech Mirror. Topic for today's video is consume Microsoft Graph API using PnP JS in SharePoint framework. This is part 25 of the Spfx tutorial series. In my last video, that is Spfx tutorial part 24, we saw how we can consume Microsoft Graph API inside SharePoint framework using REST API. In this video, we will see how we can work with Microsoft Graph API using PnP JS. So let's get started. These are the few steps which we have to do to work with the Microsoft Graph API using PnP JS. First of all, what we have to do, we have to install the PnP JS. We have to run the command npm install add pnp/graph. After we install this command, all the Graph APIs would be available to us inside SharePoint framework. Before using the graph, we have to import this at the top. After that, what we can do, although I explained this in my last video about Graph Explorer and the basis of the Graph API, so if you are watching directly this video, I will recommend you to watch part 24 of the SPFX tutorial series first. So in the Graph Explorer, which is provided by Microsoft to test our Graph APIs, I am going to test one Graph API over there. After that, we will run that API using VS Code inside SharePoint framework. After that, we will deploy and test. So this is the agenda for our today's video. So now I will move to VS Code directly. I have already created one blank solution client-side web part using SharePoint framework using React. So my solution is ready. I will directly start working on it. Before working on it, as I told you, first of all, I will be installing the Graph API. So what I will do, I will run the terminal. In the terminal, I will run the command npm install @pnp/graph. So if you are watching my videos regularly, you must be aware that while I was working with PnP JS using SharePoint APIs, I was installing npm install @pnp/sp. But since we have to interact with the Graph APIs, I am installing npm install @pnp/graph. So now this installation got started. I will wait for it to get completed. Now my PnP JS installation is completed. That is the Graph API module from PnP JS that is completed. So now what I will do, I will move to my component file. This is my component file, and I will move to the tsx file. In this file, I will import the PnP JS. Import from @pnp. You can see graph is available @pnp/graph/presets/all, and out of this I want to import the graph. So now this is available with me. Now let me create one method. Now using Graph API, what I am gonna do today is I will fetch all the events present in my calendar, in my Outlook calendar, and I will display in my web part. For that, let me create one method, public method. Name of the method would be get calendar events. And what would the return type? It will return void. So it will return a promise, void promise. And let me say it will return. Over here I will mention the return statement just to fix the error. So now this error got fixed. Over here I am facing this issue because of the arrow function. I have to mention the arrow over here, and then it would be perfectly fine. So now this is fine. Now over here I want to show you that after installing the PnP graph and after importing at the top, what my Graph APIs would be available over here. So what I will do, I will say graph dot, and you can see all the methods are available to me. Graph.teams, users, everything, me. So I can now what I want to do is I want to read all the events present in my calendar. So what I will do, graph.me.events. So what this method will do, this will return me all the events present in my calendar, and I'll say dot get. Sorry, I'll go back, events dot, and with this I will be getting all the events. And now what I have to do, it will return me a response. For example, I'll say over here in the response I will be having all the methods, and just for the testing purpose I will log this response. I'll say Graph API response, and in the browser we will see how my response is coming and how we can form it in the form of HTML. Now if I go further, what I want is I don't want any of this HTML, so I will return all the existing HTML from my return method, from my render method. And in this I will mark I will create my own HTML. This is my div, id would be the parent, I will say parent, and in this I will say calendar events. So this would be my calendar events, and now under this div I will display all my calendar events. So this is done. Now let me go back to my slide once again. So what were the steps which I mentioned? Installation of Graph API done, import Graph API done. So these two are remaining: test Graph API and add code and permission. For the testing purpose, as I told you, I will be using Graph Explorer. I have already opened this link. I will add this link in the description box as well. Otherwise, you can simply Google Graph Explorer and it will take you to this link. Over here initially it will ask you to log in, and after that you can test any of your APIs over here. Also from here there are few sample queries, you can try with them also. So in my case what I am doing is I will be fetching all the calendar events. So what I will do, I and under this I will try to find this Outlook calendar. This is my Outlook calendar and all events in my calendar. So this is the API. So this is the API over here, and once I click on this button run query, let me expand the response section, and over here you can see these all are the events present in my calendar. Power Apps demo. Right now I have not filtered them. What it is doing, it is displaying me all the events present in my calendar, all the events, past events, future events. As I know, in my calendar there are no future events, all these events are past events only. Over here you can see say 14th Feb. So all these events are past event only. If I scroll down further, and if I this is another event, DS TechMirror demo, date time is again 14th Feb. So all these are past events. So this is for the testing purpose. I will be using this API. Another important section is this modify permission. Just have a look. This Graph API needs certain permissions. So it requires calendar.read, calendar.readWrite. Okay. So now in case if I was using REST API in my VS Code, I can I could directly use this API. I could directly use this URL and I can run my code. But since I am using PnP JS, so this API I cannot use. But what I will do, I will make use of these permissions. Calendar.read, calendar.readWrite. So first let's go and add these permissions. Where I have to do that, as I told you earlier also, I have to do under package-solution.js file. Over here what I have to do, I have to add one more web API permissions. In this we have scope. First is the resource, so you have to mention the resource. You can say Microsoft Graph. Main thing is the scope. In this scope you will say, now under scope mention calendar.read. So I will try to copy from here itself, calendar.read. Now I will add the second permission. My second permission is again resource, will remain the same. Resource, any name you can give under resource. Main thing is the scope. This time calendar.readWrite, because our Graph API will access the user calendar and will fetch all the events from here and will display. So now permission is done. Now I will go back to my code. This is my code. First thing, I cannot run this code and I cannot show you the response because I have not deployed it yet. So I don't have the permission. For this testing purpose, what I will do, I will run this gulp server and I will show you that we are going to see the error related to the permission. So there is no way we can even test our Graph API inside SPFX without deploying it, not even in the local workbench or SharePoint workbench. So if you are working in a project where you have to test your web part which includes Graph API, so first what you can do, just add the permission, deploy it. Once you have the permission, then you can start testing it in the local workbench or SharePoint workbench. So first let me show you the error which we will see. Later on what I will do, I will immediately deploy it without adding any code over here. I will comment this section also, and once we give the permission, then we will write the code and then we will see how it is working. Now my gulp service is ready. I will move to the SharePoint workbench. I have already opened this SharePoint workbench. I will refresh it and I will add that web part. My web part name, let me check, it is should be related to PnP JS Graph API. Okay, and it is showing calendar events. Fine. Now I will open the console of my browser, and over here right now I will not see that error because I forgot to call this function get calendar events. For the calling purpose, what I will do, let me add this component date mount, and inside component date mount I will call this method get calendar events. Now this is fine. Now again I have to wait for this reload message in my terminal. So I got the reload message. I'll go back, I will refresh, and this time I should see the error related to the permission. And here you can see there is no graph client available 404, either set one using configuration or provide a valid Spfx context. So first of all, this is another error. This is not related to the permission, as it is saying graph API like valid Spfx context is not available. So if you are facing this error, I will show you how to fix this. To fix this, move to your web part ts file. This was component tsx file. Move to your web part ts file. Over here, create one on init method. So I'll say public on init method, and again it will return a void promise. So once this is done, let me first fix this error. Return promise dot resolve. So now this is done. Over here we have to provide a valid Spfx context. How we can do that? Again, graph dot, you can see automatically it got imported over here. In case for you it is not an auto import, you can add it manually, the same import which we did in the component file. So over here what I'll say, graph dot setup dot, I have to provide the setup, it's a method, and over here I'll say, now in this I can provide my configuration. So any configuration you have to add, you will use graph dot setup. What I have to add, I have to add Spfx context and this dot context. My web part context is available only in ts file. That's why I am adding inside ts file, adding on init method. So this is done. Now I will refresh that again once I see the reload message in my terminal. Reload message is available. I will refresh my local workbench. My gulp service is ready. Now I will refresh this page, and this time we should see the error related to the permission which our graph API requires. I will open the console, and over here you can see that the user or administrator has not consented to use the application with ID this SharePoint Online Web Application Principal, and this is the error which we are facing related to our graph API. Okay, now what I will do, I have already added the permission. I have already added the permission in the gulp file. Sorry, in the gulp package-solution file. I will deploy this solution first. For the deployment, what I will do now, I will build this solution, gulp build. Gulp build is completed. Now I will run the command to bundle my solution, gulp bundle ---- ship. I don't want any dependency on my local host. So and what it will do, it will package all my assets into my SPP kg file. So gulp bundle ---- ship, and the last command would be gulp package-solution -ship. What it will do, it will give me a package inside solution folder. So let's see, I think this is about to complete. Yes, and now the final command, gulp package-solution -ship. So now this will create a package. Okay, let me go to my folder. This is my solution. Over here inside this SharePoint folder, over here inside solution I got this SPP kg file. First let me see. Okay, this is completed. So now what I will do, I will upload this inside the app catalog. Okay, I will open my, this is my app catalog. Over here I will upload that particular solution. So I will simply drag drop. This is my file, graph API pnp js.sppkg, and I will drag it over here, upload completed, and over here you can see please go to the API management page to approve pending permission. These are the permissions that need to be reviewed. Okay, I will deploy, and this is done. Now what we have to do, we have to approve this permission. That we can do from inside the SharePoint admin center. I will go to the admin center, then I will go to SharePoint admin center, new admin center, and from here under advanced API access you would be seeing now over here that two permissions are required. They will be in the pending mode, and in the heading also you can see managed access to Azure AD secured APIs from SharePoint framework component script. So our graph API are Azure AD secured. So like these two permissions it required organization wide. I will approve them, and again I will approve it. So my permissions are done. Now let me again run the gulp serve over here, gulp serve, and after this now my solution should work fine. If I go to my local workbench over here, I will refresh it, and over here I should be able to see the response. And then the only part which would be left is just to form the HTML and display the events on my web part. Okay, so this it is opening the local workbench, but I don't need that. I will go and check whether my reload message is available, and I think it is. Let me just double check. Not yet. So once I see the reload message over here, then only I will refresh my SharePoint workbench. I can see the reload message. I will refresh it. In the component date mount, it will automatically call the get calendar event method, and I can see the response over here. So guys, this is how you can work with the graph API using PnP JS. So this process I have already explained in my earlier video also, but over here you can see I will be getting all the events. If I go to the subject Power Apps demo, so all this procedure will remain the same whether you are using graph API or the REST APIs. Whether you are using PnP JS or the REST APIs for graph API, this process will remain the same. The only thing change is the way you fetch the data. Over here, let me go back over here. See, graph.me.event. It's as simple as that. It's very simple to use PnP JS. So over here, what we have to do is now we have to simply form the HTML. So what I'll say, response.map method, because it's an array. Inside this, I will be getting the value. And what I'll say, let me create calendar HTML. Okay, let calendar HTML. It will be of type string. Fine. And what I will be doing, I will be creating the list HTML li component, and inside this I will be adding the subject of my event. So how I will fetch the subject over here, as we can see over here in this graph API response, it's an array. So this is the value. I will say value dot subject. At the end we have this subject over here. So I will go back. I will say value dot subject. So this is the HTML. Now what I have to do, this is my parent element. So let me get this also. Root element is equal to document dot get element by id, and id is parent in small. So using this I will get the id. Now I have to just append that HTML in that particular id. So over here what I will be saying, root element dot inner HTML, I have to append it, and I will say calendar HTML. So what it will do, this loop will run, and every time it will add this into this particular HTML, and root element dot inner HTML will be keep on adding all the events. So now this should work fine, and we should be able to see all the events on the web part. Again, as usual, I will wait for the load message. It is available very quickly this time. I will refresh it. I will close my browser console, and over here you can see all these are the events present in my calendar. Power Apps demo, DS TechMirror demo, unplanned meeting, test meeting, all this I have added. So guys, this is how you can work with the graph API using PnP JS. Let me quickly summarize it for you. So what you will be doing, you will be installing PnP graph. After that you will be importing it import statement is ready over here. Like this, you will import it. After importing, you can test it in the Graph Explorer. I will add the link in the description box. You can test it over here. Pick these permissions and add the permissions in the gulp package-solution is the command, so we have to add it in the package-solution command under web API permission request. Add it, deploy your package. Once you deploy, you have to approve it from the SharePoint admin center under web API access under advanced. From there, once you add it, just then write your code as per your requirement. For me, it was just to fetch the events. So what I did, I simply graph.me.events, all the intelligence you will be getting. So it's very easy to write the code. Another error which we faced was related to the context. So this is how you can give the context. Go to your TS file, create one on init method and graph.setup, just pass the context. So guys, with this we reach to an end of this video. If you like this video, please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel to get notification for our upcoming videos. If you have any issues related to this video or any of our earlier videos, you can reach out to us through YouTube comments or through our official email ID contactdstechmirror@gmail.com. You can join our group over Facebook called Modern SharePoint. We can collaborate over there. Link is in the description box below. And also you can follow me on Twitter to get all the updates from the Office 365 world. Till our next video, much love, keep learning.